the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, where he said, "Ahabbu al-a'mali ila Allah adwamuha wa in qal." So that is basically a habit. The most beloved actions to Allah are those that are done consistently, even if they are small. This is something that we need to do. Start now, as Ramadan's coming soon, so we can, build up good habits. So, because Ramadan, fasting in the day and praying at night, this is not something that's easy. So a person, reminding for myself first, is to start, doing some sunnah fast, praying Qiyam al-Layl and stuff like that, so we can build up to that.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I'm back again in another episode. As you guys can tell, I wasn't here last week because got a 1-match ban, but I'm back now. Yeah, good to go. So today we're here with the brothers in Brixton. We'll be talking about habits, bad habits, good habits, how to attain them, how to delete them. Okay, so we'll start off by talking about what a habit is. So who would like to slide tackle that? Asad, thank you for nominating yourself. What's a habit?
What's a habit? A habit is something that you do that's done consistently, and that's something that you're accustomed to doing over and over again for over multiple days and stuff like that. Yeah.
So there's good habits and there's bad habits, right?
Yeah. So there's obviously
Perfect. So that goes on to how do I get rid of bad habits?
First, you have to know what a bad habit is and understand that you're falling into a bad habit. You have to look at yourself and realize that what I'm doing is not good. I need to stop it. That's the first thing, really accepting that you're doing something wrong or doing a bad habit. And then after, you have to obviously take steps to stop that. And obviously it's hard to break a habit, especially when you're older. It's hard to break a thing that you're doing constantly over and over again. It's really hard. And I think first thing you have to do is ask Allah to aid you in that. Obviously we always have to make dua for the things we want. So without Allah's help, you're not going to get anywhere. So I think the main thing is making dua that Allah will change your ways and change the way you are. And then obviously you have to take practical steps that for whatever you're doing, you have to try and actively stop doing that thing or start doing it, whatever. So if I give an example, for example, smoking or whatever. Smoking is obviously a bad habit and it's haram. So first thing you have to do, for example, you have to stop buying them. You have to really restrain yourself and discipline yourself when you're trying to stop a habit. That's the main thing I think people forget. It's not going to just happen for you. You have to actually put in effort and discipline yourself, but you have to take practical steps. So for example, not buying cigarettes, staying away from people who smoke as well, stuff like that. Yeah, I think that'll be the main thing. And then obviously also replacing them with good habits.
Yeah, I was gonna.
So instead of doing something bad, for example, smoking, do something else with your time. If you have the urge to smoke, that's what a lot of people recommend. That some people that do other things, that they chew gum or something like that.
Yeah,
stuff like that to just stop you from make you get used to not smoking, basically. Yeah. So that can apply for everything else.
I was gonna say something. You see, when you mention bad habits, it's very hard for someone to just cut it off straight away.
100%, yeah.
That's why you have to take steps. It's a process. Especially if you've been doing something for so long, it's going to be very hard for you to just cut it off straight away. This doesn't just go to smoking, everything in it. Every bad habit. So best thing I'd say, in my opinion, is try to replace it with something similar that's not haram. So, for example, music. If you're listening to music, you can replace it with other things that are more beneficial. It's still got the listening element to it, so podcasts or speeches or even durus.
Quran as well.
Quran, most importantly, Quran. Yeah. So that's the first step you're taking, and over time you won't even realize it. You just cut off your music, and it's more practical that way as well. But that's a very important point. Anyone else want to add anything?
No, I was just going to emphasize bad habits. Yeah, getting rid of habits is it's like moving a mountain. An ordinary person can't move a mountain, can they? That's how hard it is. But of course, anything's possible if Allah allows it to be in it. So if Allah allows you to be able to move a mountain, then you'll be able to move a mountain. So that's what you should go back to if you want to get rid of a bad habit. He's the one that gave you the ability to get rid of the bad habit in the first place, or to even do the bad habit.
Yeah.
So you should ask him to get rid of it. And a lot of people, when they make dua for to get rid of the bad habit, but they don't beg. Because a bad habit is something, it's mad, it's big, it's hard to get rid of. And if you just ask once a week, or I don't know, once in a month, or when you feel like it, then of course it's not that easy to get rid of. You have to beg for it to get taken away from you. That's about it, to be honest.
Yeah, it goes back to how bad you want to get rid of the bad habit.
Exactly that as well.
If you really, really want to get rid of it, you'll be asking for it almost all the time, innit?
In your sujood, in your du'as, even, I always say this here, whenever someone says, I want to do this, and ask them, how badly do you want it? I really want it so badly. And you ask them, do you wake up every day, last for the night, making dua for it? A lot of them, they say, nah. So that means you don't really want it. If you really wanted something, you do that. You take all the measures, like say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the dua is accepted in sujood. Then you make dua in sujood for that specific thing. Last for the night, make dua at that time. Stuff like that. So if you really want something, you'll use all the avenues possible to get it. So yeah.
Anyone else want to touch upon
the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he said, "أحب الأعمال إلى الله أدومها وإن قل." So that is basically a habit. Someone, the most beloved actions to Allah are those that are done consistently, even if they are small. So this is a good. This is something that we need to do. Start now, as Ramadan's coming soon. So we can, build up good habits. So because Ramadan, fasting in the day and praying at night, this is not something that's easy. So a person, reminder for myself first is to start, doing some sunnah fast, praying Qiyam al-Layl and stuff like that, so we can build up to that. And also like the opposite. So if someone's trying to get rid of a bad habit, it's not something that's gonna, as Asad mentioned, something that's gonna happen straight away. So a person, he needs to, do it slowly. For example, like if like one bad habit that some people have, like even including myself, like maybe like sleeping late or something like that. But every day you sleep, 15 minutes early or something like that. And eventually you're gonna get to that time where you can sleep early. You understand? So, take it. It's not something that you should really rush. Like just take your time.
Yeah.
And eventually it'll come.
Yeah, I was gonna say the struggle of the struggle of fighting against your bad habit is praiseworthy, because there's a hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, "Al-mujahidu man jahada nafsahu fi sabilillahi azza wa jal." The person who strives in the way of Allah is he who strives against his soul, and this is jihad. This is a jihad, you know what I'm saying? So it's praiseworthy as well. So the process is also praiseworthy, as the result is as well, because obviously you want to get rid of that bad habit. But a lot of people, they give up halfway, but it should be like persistent and persevere through that process, because the process is rewardable, as Allah mentioned, as the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned. So a lot of people forget that as well, and that's a reminder to myself first and foremost.
Okay, I also wanted to say, you see, when it comes to habits and how to tackle it and get rid of it, it's all specific to the person. So let's say we have the same habit, me and Isa, yeah. The way I tackle it is going to be different to his, because I have to be practical according to how I could tackle it, you see it. Because let's say, for example, my distractions could be different to yours. For example, like our phones. You can't just say I'm going to cut off all social media platforms, because it's not practical. How many times, put my hands up. Put my hands up. I tried doing it. Next thing you know, 2 weeks later, I just download it.
Back on it.
It's not practical, innit? But if you filter your social medias, like let's say, for example, get rid of all these bad pages or whatnot, start following these pages that are reminding you of the Deen or whatnot, then there's khair in it, in your social media, innit? And try stay away from these bad things, innit? So it's all practical to your own standards. So you can't expect someone to give you a step-by-step on how to get rid of a bad habit. There's like a foundation, but the way you take it is according to yourself. But yeah, I thought I just wanted to say that.
Just add on, you have to know yourself as well.
Yeah.
Like, you have to know what works for you. Because, for example, like some people, they can get rid of bad habits really easily. Like one day they just, like, I'm not doing this anymore, and they switch it and they just stop doing it. And it even differs from habit to habit. Some people find it easy to get rid of different habits in opposite to others. But some people, it's really hard for them. And if you're one of those people, then obviously people advising you to do it, just to stop doing it or stuff like that, that's not going to help you that much. So like you said, you have to really know yourself and find ways that are practical for yourself, so you can get rid of that efficiently.
Yeah.
And I feel like, just going back to Mustafa's point where he mentioned the hadith about the most beloved deed to Allah is the one that's consistent, even if it's small. I feel like a lot of people, when they're trying to get rid of something, so for example, that you made about social media, they go like straight away, they just max out, they want to delete everything, and that's it, start from now. And then you can just start off like with just getting rid of one thing, or like getting rid of something that's easier for you, then slowly as the days go by, you get there, innit? Because some people,
progression, innit?
yeah, because some people just want to get rid of things straight away, or they want to build a habit or get rid of a habit straight away, and then when they don't reach that target sooner or later, they're like, oh, I haven't done anything, and just end up going back to it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So the process is also praiseworthy,
Yeah, exactly.
as is the goal.
Yeah.
And
It's
that's
like-
important for like newly practicing Muslims as well.
Yeah.
Because someone's gonna come, to the Deen, and he's gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna pray Qiyam al-Layl every day, do this, do that, and then like eventually you burn out, and then you just like leave like everything off, and you're like, it's too difficult. You understand? So the hadith is key when someone's newly practicing, unless in any case, to be honest.
Or if you're just making a switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so the social media one is a mad thing, fam. I can't lie. It's so hard because everyone's using it.
Yeah.
So if you just cut off all social media at once, just like that, it'll be very hard. I'm not saying you can't do it, but it'll be kind of hard, innit?
I think first, if you want to get off social media, first thing, limit your time on it. Like, say you're gonna spend what, like say, okay, some people, they're on it for hours and hours a day. Do you know what I mean? So it's so for them, like, cut it to, maybe just an hour a day, like, but then slowly, like 30 minutes and 50 minutes, and eventually, like, you'll barely be on it. You'll flick through it once and then you'll go off of it. That's fine as well. The problem is people do it too much, and like they're on it constantly, and it's basically addiction at that point. So yeah, and then people trying to get rid of it all at once, every single thing, they delete every single app. Next day, you see them back on it. You know what I mean? What they do, some people they download it on, they go into like the Safari or the website, the internet browser, and they go on it on there. I'm like, bro, what you do, man? I don't know who does that, bro. I know you do that, fam. They download Instagram or Twitter, they get on the internet browser and they just scroll through it that way. So for themselves, they're thinking, oh, I'm not on it.
Yeah, on
But
the
they
iPad
are.
or something, innit? There's another
They'll
device.
be like, oh no, I'm just spending 5 minutes on that, I'm gonna go for it, but no, the whole time.
I think that goes back to the point where you have to be practical according to yourself, innit? Because you'd think, if I want to cut off social media, let me just cut it off right now, innit? But it's a process, man. And what's it called? I was gonna say, you see about the time limit. That
Yeah, I was gonna say-
Oh, the screen time thing.
Yeah, that's the feature. Forget about the feature, yeah, because you can always just ignore it.
Yeah, you just
I'm
remind me in
talking-
15 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the actual persons. Let's say if you're addicted, there's some people that are addicted, but they don't want to admit it. You have to be. This is why you have to be true to yourself.
Yeah,
innit?
like
Be
I-
true to yourself, so you can actually set yourself some goals to get rid of this disease. So what's it called? It won't be realistic if someone that's on social media all the time to say, 1 hour a day. That's not realistic, innit? Because let's say on a regular day they're spending 6-7 hours. It sounds mad, innit?
Yeah, but that's how it is.
So if you are spending how many hours you are spending, try to cut it down slowly. Like, let's say today I'm going to do 1 less hour. Do that for a week. So now it's consistent, kind of. And then just slowly cut down until you reach your end goal, innit? Like the hadith said, innit? It's better to be consistent and a small deed. So yeah, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And
even-
also that the feature, what is it called? Screen time.
Screen time.
yeah, you can
Yeah,
put a
put-
time limit on every
put
app.
time
You
Yeah,
know?
we put a time limit.
Well,
They won't let you
I can't lie, bro. The thing is, you do it, and then it comes up, the limit comes up. Then it will say, remind me in 15 minutes. So it says, give me 1 more minute.
Yeah.
So then you do it, and you keep pressing it, and you just get.
And then you have the password anyways or whatever.
Yeah.
But some
Yeah.
people, I heard one brother said, he made his mum write the password in it. So when there's a time limit there,
Yeah.
and then now he can't use it. So he doesn't even know the password to get into the app. So then he has to tell his mum, but his mum says no. Like, it's just-
Yeah.
That's a good
There
idea.
are some practical
Yeah.
steps that everyone can take in. Like, if you really did, like, for example, I know a lot of people when they're like revising for like exams or something like that, they give their phone to their mums or their parents,
Yeah.
and they say just hide it and don't give it to me until I'm done. Basically,
Remember I did that.
so they can't. Or they
did
just
that
throw the
still.
phone away. Like I don't know about you guys, but I'm quite lazy in it. So like when I'm sitting on my desk, I'll just toss my phone on my bed or something like that, and I know I won't be bothered to go up and get it. So I just do it and I just don't go in it. You know what I mean?
Everyone has
Because it works
different
for me.
methods, innit?
Yeah, it works for me, but like, you have to find what works for you. But I think if you the main thing is blocking off all access, all paths to that bad habit. That's the main thing.
That's the first. I feel that's the first step.
Yeah,
so
so don't even let yourself access it in any way, because that obviously if you can't do it, then you eventually stop doing it, and then eventually you stop getting used to it, and then
Yeah, so going off from that, when a person has a bad habit, there's a stimulant that triggers this bad habit, and as a result of this stimulant, it could even be like your environment, for example. Let's say even downloading social media, going back to what you were saying, and let's say all your guys, they have social media. Like it creates an impulse for you to execute that bad habit. Let's say and download social media. you feel like you're missing out or something like that.
Yeah, that's
happens,
a very
yeah.
important point. Can't lie. Getting pressure, that's social pressure. That's pressure, isn't it?
Yeah,
Kind of.
but yeah, kind of subconsciously kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, because and that goes with sins as well. Like let's say even listen to music. If the people around you, blast the music 24/7 and that, and it's gonna wash up on you and like.
Yeah, that's true. You hear a banger one time, you're trying to find
Yeah, bro, you know about that. You know about that, innit?
Wallah. But yeah, man.
I think also just what reminded me, like, if you know the bad effects of your bad habit, like the effects it has on you as a person, stuff like that, it'll want to make you get rid of it more. Do you know what I'm saying? For example, like listen to music. If you realize the effect that has on your brain and like the dopamine rush it gives you and stuff like that, and like and how it's obviously a sin and it keeps you away from the Quran, it keeps you the love of Islam away from your heart, then you will want to run away from that. Do you know what I mean?
So
like,
you're saying learning about the bad effects of that sin, basically.
Yeah,
of that bad habit. Yeah, that's what you're saying. Yeah.
That's actually so important, especially people that listen to music or stuff like that. You have to. Do you know how Ibn Qayyim said the heart, the music and the Quran,
Yeah, they can't go in the
they
same-
can't enter
no.
the same heart. So you have the choice now. If you know the evil effects of music, it's either music or Quran. So which one are you going to choose? Speech of shaitan or the speech of Allah?
And also, just going on from that, some people have to experience that themselves to finally realize that, like, oh, I hear these statements, I hear these statements of the Salaf or like a hadith, like they disregard it and they have to experience that themselves. Like, bro, I forgot all this Quran. Why? Because I've been listening to this music. You know what I'm saying? I've been. So subhanAllah, like some people have to go through that stage. May Allah not make us from those who have to go through that stage.
I mean.
Because this is a bad.
It's miserable.
Blameworthy, innit?
Yeah.
That's why it's important to think. Identify the bad habit first, innit? And all the bad effects it has upon you. Because if you get rid of this and you replace it with a good habit, look at the benefits you'll get from that good habit. Most likely you're going to be doing other more good habits. Yeah. Do you get? What was he saying?
I was going to say a little small point about, I think it was Ibn Qayyim or one of the Mashaykh that said that a person that tasted Iman once upon a time, but then he falls off or he burns out, he's the most miserable person because he knows how Iman tastes like.
No.
And then now he's off it. It hurts him a lot. I don't know. It's
linked to what we were saying, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, now we talked about like the effects of like knowing your bad habits and that. I feel like how to like stop it in it. For example, like, because I was thinking about first you know you're doing something wrong. You know you have a bad habit. Yeah. Now you need like a
plan,
a pathway. Yeah, a plan. Because without a plan, you can't really do anything, can you?
Yeah.
So you need a plan now.
Specific to everyone individually, innit? Because my plan will be different to your plan because I know myself. That goes back to your point about knowing yourself, being honest with yourself, innit? Man, do you want to add anything else?
Like I said, just have a goal. Like, I want to get rid of this before Ramadan or before, I don't know, in 1 month's time. And then make a plan, a daily plan. And hold yourself to account as well. حاسب أنفسكم قبل أن تحاسبوا. Hold yourself to account before that day comes. Where you planned your goal, just ruined your goal basically. So plan everything out. And then after that should be right in it. And constantly ask Allah as well. Because Allah, you can't do anything unless Allah allows it to happen. A lot of people, they think, I'm practicing, he's not practicing, look at him. But you're just practicing because Allah allowed you.
Yeah.
Allah gave you tawfiq.
100.
That's why in Surah Fatiha, especially, when after mentioning Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Malik Yawm Deen, Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in, Ihdina Sirata al-Mustaqim. How many times do you recite that every day?
Too many.
A lot of times, isn't it?
Too many.
Yeah.
But how comes, for example, Ahlul Bid'ah, they recite this as well, but we recite it as well. How comes they're not guided? They ask Allah all the time, and we ask Allah all the time. Do you get it? So how comes they're not guided if they're always asking Allah?
Yeah.
You see it? It's because Allah chose us, He blessed us. He's the one that gave us tawfiq and didn't give them tawfiq. Do you get it?
Yeah.
So it's not what you always do, what you say, even if you say Ihdina Sirata al-Mustaqim a million times a day or something. It's not what you put in, is if Allah allows it to happen. So beg Him for it.
That's
Really mean
that's an important point.
Yeah, that's a very...
I think that comes before you trying to change any of your habits, like within your own, means, like as in within your own this realm of the world we're living in.
Yeah.
We have to remember that Allah is the one who gives tawfiq, and Allah is the one who allows us to, who relieves us from a bad habit.
Yeah.
I'll
say that's the most important
100%.
first step that you should do, innit?
Yeah, I feel like something we can all do, generally speaking, is observe our habits consciously. So whenever you get like an impulse to do something, you need to like step back and assess like what are you doing. Like even a thought of it. Like, so we're not actually talking about doing the actual habit itself. Let's say, like, for example, smoking, innit? Let's say you're thinking of, obviously you got like because bad habits, they normally come with an addiction. So there's a key example of smoking. It's renowned that it has like an addiction, addictive, you know, substance, for example. But yeah, if you just step back and assess like what are you actually doing, like, I think that will, because a lot of time for me it works as well. Like if I'm thinking of doing a sin, yeah, and I step back and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what's the risk I'm taking, and what's the reward that's gonna come from that sin? Does it outweigh, you know, all these questions?
I see, it's like be present type of thing.
Yeah,
before you do something,
be present.
think it through. Like, always think. This is something that helps me as well. Like, before you sin, sometimes you get an impulse in it,
No.
and then just think, if I do this, I'm gonna lose this. I'm gonna lose this much memorization. I'm gonna lose this. You get it?
Sorry.
And I heard one of the mashayikh, they said that you never know that one sin that you do knowing that Allah's watching you, but you still do it because, I don't know, in a drunken state of sinning or whatever. That one sin can be the reason why Allah closes your heart. He seals your heart for the rest of your life. Wallahi, that's deep, man.
Yeah.
That is so deep. So that's why you should
May
think
Allah save
through
us
it.
from that, innit?
I mean, may Allah protect us, man. That's
Ameen.
scary, I can't lie.
But say,
No,
Now go on.
no, it's just something.
no. One again, like building onto what he said, like one of the things that, you know, all these things that you're gonna use memorization and this that, but one of the biggest things that you could be sacrificing is your akhirah. Like, there's a statement of I think it's Ibn al-Qayyim, like, how can someone, you know, be considered, you know, intellectual, the one who sells his akhirah for, you know, an hour of desire or something like that. SubhanAllah.
Really.
So that's something that we need to remember, like when we're about to sin or something, that this could be, you know, no one knows which way the scale is going to tip on your own qiyamah. So I'm stand.
What was you gonna say?
You know, that was a good point, by the way. I'm back. But, you know, I was gonna say, these thoughts that sometimes we experience, they're temporary as well, and so is the pleasure you get from a bad habit. So there was a statement by Ibn Qayyim. He said that these thoughts are like passerbys on the road. If you leave them as you pass by, they will depart from you. So going back to what you were saying, like when you think of something, you know, like you're about to do something, think of like the duration of pleasure as well. Like, you know, it's all temporary, innit? Like, at the end of the day, like, going back to what Mustafa was saying, like, why would you sacrifice a few moments, maybe even an hour of pleasure instead of your akhirah? You know what I'm saying? Putting your akhirah at stake. Like, I don't think that's worth it, bro.
Yeah, 100% is not worth it, man.
Just to add on, it all goes back to knowing Allah as well. Because if you have the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you would not want to do it in the first place, you know what I mean? Like, that's like your foundation. Like, if you know that, for example, a sin, if you know that Allah's watching you and Allah will hold you to account for what you're about to do, you'll say, like, no, I don't want to do this. A person of Iman will say to himself, like, I don't want to get into this. I don't want to, because they know the risks and they know the dangers of it. So yeah, I think it just all goes back to knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, learning about Him, and developing a fear of Him, of His punishment, to stop you from doing bad habits, and then developing a hope for Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He'll forgive you as well for whatever you've done in the past. So yeah, I think it just all goes back to that, and that's your foundation for destroying the bad habits, inshallah.
Yeah, man. Everything goes back to Tawheed. man.
Tawheed, yeah, literally.
We literally
And
said that last
especially-
time.
Yeah. Everything, I'm telling you.
Everything, even the bad. You think about it.
It's called
Yeah,
muraqabatullah. Being conscious that Allah's watching you.
Yeah.
And I heard a statement from someone that said that taqwa is not someone that worships Allah in public or does whatever, reads Quran, leads the prayers. Taqwa is someone that he can stay away from sins in private. When it's just him and Allah alone. Whoever can stay away from the most sins, they are the ones that have taqwa. But yeah, I think that was kind of deep, I can't lie.
Yeah.
Let's talk about like
Let's go on.
how to get rid of it now.
Nah,
I don't think we mentioned it.
I think it's
We
about how to make
kind of
good
did
habits.
though.
Yeah, we did.
As in,
Everyone has to assess themselves.
Yeah, but
Think about-
imagine you're in a state where you're about to do it.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
assess
about
what you're
to.
doing.
Yeah, I said you kind of touched upon it as well,
Yeah.
but I wanted to add just a little
Go
thing.
on,
Yeah,
go on.
everything comes with something that triggers it. Innit? For example,
Yeah.
you won't. For example, the example of music. Yeah, you won't end up listening to like binge watching 10 videos of music videos or whatever, unless something you saw someone post it or you saw it somewhere basically.
Yeah, or you heard it somewhere.
Yeah, or you heard it somewhere, and then you had the thought of going up on it and then searching it, etc. And then you clicked it and you watched it, etc. Where did it all come from? You saw it.
It came from
It's
like
either
a
you heard it from
stimulant.
someone or you saw it somewhere. And I think Ibn Qayyim said a very powerful statement. He said, the gateway to the heart is the eyes and the ears.
No.
Yeah.
So you protect your eyes and your ears.
No.
Say you heard it from your boys or something like that.
Yeah.
Stay away from them. It doesn't matter.
Mute
Stay
them,
away from them.
delete them,
Get rid.
wipe
Stay
them
away
out.
from
I'm joking.
If you heard it from your boys, stay away from them. Or if you're a sister, your sisters, forever. And then if you see it online, if it's from your eyes, you saw someone post it and then you clicked on it and you end up going further, get rid of that person. If it's a little unfollow on Instagram, do it. If it's worth it.
Yeah, man.
But what would you do then if, like, say you just walk on the street or something like that, you're just doing something normal.
Or
and
if it
comes-
happens.
Yeah, then what do you do?
Okay, now if it happens to you, then you still have the option left. Now that it's gone, is your trigger, didn't it?
Yeah.
Now you still have the thought. You're still thinking about doing it.
Yeah.
That's what you have to cut out. You have to cut out the thought. Because if you don't cut out the thought, you're going to end up doing it. And then say you can't cut out the thought and you're about to do it. And this is very hard to get rid of because you're about to do it. But even then, you should still seek Allah's aid in it. Like the story of Yusuf, innit? You might know the story of Yusuf.
Yeah.
Even though the door was closed, he still ran towards the
Oh,
door
yeah.
when the woman was trying to approach him and stuff like that. So that's another thing. Just one thing that also helps as well, yeah, is sometimes all these thoughts are inside in it. Like you're just thinking about it or with your heart or whatever. Try like vocalize it. Like say you're thinking about a sin, yeah.
Yeah.
Just shout or whatever. Just say Allah's watching me. Because sometimes you might not be able to deep it like that. If you say Allah's watching me, or just run to someone, like say it in private, just go somewhere, go downstairs or go with your family or whatever, when if you're about to fall into that sin, because that might help as well.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that
vocalize it
it
as
probably
well.
does because obviously it's harder to abstain from a sin in private than public. Going back to what I was saying,
Yeah.
To know who's the true person who upholds taqwa
Yeah.
is the person who abstains from sin and worships Allah in private.
Even when Yusuf alayhi salam, he said, قَالَ مَعَاذَ اللَّهِ, I seek the aid of Allah,
Allah, yeah.
or I seek refuge in Allah.
No.
Just he said it, innit?
Yeah.
So like try to say it as well. Like,
Yeah,
because
no,
sometimes
no.
you might think that Allah's watching you, but then you're fighting the fact, you're trying to forget the fact that Allah's watching you inside. But once you say it, yeah, it's done. Like you heard it. So that might help some people, innit? Inshallah.
Just before we move on, yeah, I feel like a big important tip that everyone can do right now, because the youth these days, innit, it's all social media, innit? So I feel like the best thing you can do, like you said, the entrance to the heart is through
Gateway
your
to the
eyes
heart.
and your ears, innit? So with social media, just filter it. Filter your whole feed. Filter who you're following. Make sure you're not following people that are going to damage your heart through your eyes or your ears. So let's say, for example, you're following these pages, these music pages, unfollow them. They have no benefit for you. And if you're following stuff that you shouldn't be seeing, unfollow them. Then you'll see the effects over time. Inshallah, so that's the first step. And then the rest, obviously, base around yourself. But anyways, we're talking about bad habits. Let's talk about good habits now. How do we develop good habits?
Same advice as Mustafa said. Start off small, something small. Say you want to finish the Quran in a month, yeah. Start off with
In a month?
yeah.
Oh, reading now.
Yeah, read. No, not by heart, but like reading. Start off with something small, because some people, depending on your level, some people can't finish the Quran, but you should try to anyways.
Yeah.
But start off with half a page, if that's your level. 1 page. Next day, keep adding like one line or one ayah.
Any progression is better than no progression.
Yeah. Because if you say, if you don't read Quran at all and you can't read it properly, and you say, I want to finish the Quran in 30 days, but you know your level, it's far-fetched,
Yeah, it goes
then
back,
start off small, you know what I mean?
it goes back to what we said. Just be realistic to yourself. Be real to
Yeah.
yourself. And you know you better than anyone else. So yeah.
I think that's it. Just make like a plan what you're gonna do every day. Whether that's even memorizing, like you want to memorize half a page or a page. Start off small. Afterwards, you're gonna feel it's very easy. Then step it up a little bit, like after a few weeks or something.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
always
also,
small is good.
Yeah, don't watch other people as well, man.
That's another one.
Yeah, that's so important. Because if you watch other people, this person, you don't know how long they've been doing this good habit.
Yeah.
They could be doing it for years, and you haven't even started the good habit yet, and you already want to jump into that deep end straight away. What happens if you jump into the deep end of the sea?
You drown.
And you can't swim.
Yeah.
You're gonna drown.
You're not fit for it.
How quick are you gonna drown? So quick. The same thing in this situation, man. You jump into deep end, you can't handle it, and then you'll end up just leaving it all.
Yeah.
So take small steps. Small steps are better than no steps. Small progression better than no progression.
Just think of it as a book, yeah. And everything you've done, the starting pages, say you go through page 1, page 2, that's what you've done. You've memorized, I don't know, one page, and then say you get to like a third of the book. A lot of people have this mindset, yeah. They look at the end, they're like, I've got 2/3 left, man. I've got such a long way.
But they don't
Look what you went through. You did a third. Do you know what I'm saying? Don't just look at things that you haven't done. Look at the things that you've done. That'll push you. I can't lie. A lot of people, they don't, subhanAllah, Allah protects us in it, but like, be grateful in it. Be grateful for what you have.
Yeah.
If you're grateful for what you did, Allah will increase you in it. That's it, man. Just be positive, man. I can't lie. Good habits, you have to be positive. Can't be negative.
Do you want to add something?
Yeah, I was going to say, Sheikh mentioned this. Basically, he gave the example of going to a dars. He said that when you go to a dars, know that since you, after the dars, you're better after it than you were before it, because you've learned something, you benefit something from just being in that dars. So always think that just making a small step, you're better now after that step than you were before. And you keep making more steps, and you keep getting better and better and better. So that will just motivate you as well. Like you're consistently improving, even if it's by a tiny bit. You're still improving. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you want to add anything?
Yeah, and like in terms of like Ramadan as well, the Salaf, they used to ask Allah to reach Ramadan, 6 months before.
Yeah.
So it's not like a week before, a month before, 6 months before. So they used
Prepare
to
as well.
prepare like and give themselves time to prepare as well. So it's not something that happens quickly.
They'll focus as well.
Yeah.
They don't look here and there. They focus on that's what I'm trying to get to. I focus on that. Don't look left and right. I don't look, what's this guy doing? What's he doing?
Yeah.
Look straight, focus. That's the thing. It's positive mindset. I can't, like, goes back to that, man. Good habits.
And also, the first step, obviously making dua, obviously, and setting yourself goals. If you don't have a goal, then you don't know where you're going towards.
Yeah.
If you're just gonna say, I'm gonna an ayah a day, whatnot. Let's say you're starting, you have to have a goal to motivate you to carry on, to be consistent. Because if you're not going to be consistent, then I'll give you a week, and then you're done. You have to have a goal. That goal is going to motivate you. Yeah. But yeah, man. Yeah. Well, how do we attain these good habits? Let's mention some good habits. We mentioned one already.
Yeah, Quran. Everyone should get in a habit of reading the Quran every day.
Speech of Allah, man. Neglect it.
But I was going to mention the ayah. وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. So that's whoever strives in our path, in our way, Allah will guide them to the right path. Whether that be, because everyone's path is different, innit? So your path might be different, like we mentioned the methods and stuff like that. But they all come into one path, Allah's path. So you have to strive first. One thing, whenever Allah mentions something, it always says, first you do it. First you do it, then Allah will do this. فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرُكُمْ, etc. If you remember Allah, then Allah remember you.
So you have to take the
Always
first step.
First you take the first. He wants to see your effort first.
Yeah.
But that's the first thing. First, you have to make an effort. Second thing, do something that's like of value. Because some people, they might they might want to build a habit of memorizing, lines of poetry instead of the Quran, which is, the Quran obviously takes more precedence. It's qawlullah instead of qawl al-bashar. So you have to do something that's valuable. Choose something valuable that you want to make a habit, whether that's even qiyam al-layl or whatever. And then now, start off small. We said that already. Set yourself targets every day. If you don't do it, do like a punishment. For example, if you don't do something, you have to pay like £5 sadaqah or something. Something like that. Hold yourself to account, basically. That's what I'm trying to say.
Or do 10 push-ups. You're improving your health as well.
Yeah, something like that. Something according to your means, innit?
Goes back to the first episode.
True lockdown. Yeah, carry on.
But yeah, that's the thing. You have a goal and plan, stuff like that. Anyway, if anyone wants to add anything, then
when you're planning or when you're making goals, start or you have a list of habits you wanna make. Start with the most important. List them what is the most important to you at this stage, and start with that, because that's the most urgent. That's the most important. You have to make, and also it's good to make your goals like specific as well. Some people they have very generic ones. Like,
very
like,
vague ones.
Like lose weight. What does that even mean? Or eat more. You know what I'm saying? Like,
calm down, brother. Calm down, brother.
but you get me? Like you have to make it so like I want to lose this much by this amount of time, stuff like that.
I feel like time, when you're making a goal, time has to be included.
Yeah.
A period. So let's say, for example, any goal that you make, by the end of
this month,
by the end of this month, by the end of this year, by the end of this week, I want to attain this.
Because that's a good way to track your progress as well, how
exactly.
you're doing. So say you come at the end of the week, you review yourself. How did I reach the goal? If not, how much did I miss out on it by? Exactly.
And then that's when you can temper your plan.
Yeah.
But I feel like the time within a goal is very important.
So you should make it specific. You should make it measurable, and you should give it a time limit. There's more things as well.
Yeah.
I can't remember. There's a lot of shurut of making goals.
You know, I swear there was something like this in business. Was it in business?
What?
It's like a plan. Time, something I can't. If you know, just comment down below. Man.
Nah, that's not like chemistry and that.
They talk about the business forecast.
Accountability, I think, is one.
What are you talking about? The business forecast?
No, about setting goals. No, man.
I see them probably 50 man on
not
YouTube and stuff. They talk about it. You have to make it specific, measurable. You have to hold yourself.
Yeah, something like
It's
that.
in science. It's in science. Trust me.
Bro, science.
No, it is, man.
Science is
you have to
mixing
know when
chemicals.
you're doing an experiment. Like you got to do that. The thing in it.
Hmm.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but that's not
But the one I'm
really
talking
what
about,
you're talking about,
no, but the one I'm talking about is for goals, setting a goal. And
I know what you're talking about. I think about the same thing, but I can't remember the.
Yeah,
I think I've done it in business, man. They say when you're setting a goal, it has to be attainable time. Anyways,
I know
I'm
what
pretty
you're
sure
talking
there's someone that's watching this that knows, and just comment down below, man. But anyways, so yeah, good habits. What else do you guys want to add on?
Khalas.
A good habit, yeah. It could be like someone could have a good habit that's not really a good habit. So what do I mean by that? What's a good habit? Something that's going to benefit you, firstly, with Deen wise and dunya wise, and it's going to keep you away from sins. So, for example, a dunya wise thing will be health, but actually, health is related to the Deen as well. So
a lot of stuff you relates back to the Deen. Like, for example, like if people have like a bad habit, like most of us are sleeping late or something like that, then the consequence of that could be that you sleep and you miss Fajr, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So a lot of the stuff ties into
they're all
Deen as well.
related, yeah.
All the
I think the most important habits that you want to build is related to your Deen, 100%. But you have to think that, alhamdulillah, a lot of the times you think that a lot of these bad habits that you're doing, all of it, not all of it, a lot of it comes back to the Deen. Even if you don't think it does, some way they will link. Do you know what I mean? Like the sleeping thing, for example, that I just gave, or that, stuff like that. So yeah, I think those are the most important ones you have to fix up in yourself. And obviously the other ones as well, but I think those ones take precedence. Something that you see will benefit you in your Islam, in your Deen, then you should give that precedence, I think.
I feel like when you do start doing good habits, naturally you will develop other good habits. So let's say, for example, like good manners. If you have good habits and you're doing it, let's say, for example, going to lessons. Bro, when you go to lessons, no one's speaking out loud when the teacher's speaking. No one is fiddling. No one's standing up, walking across. Do you get it? That's good manners. And these things, we weren't taught it. You just sit down and you observe everyone, and everyone's. Do you get it? Those are the small things you will pick up, but you wouldn't even know you're picking up. But yeah, did you want to add anything?
No, I was gonna say habits are usually long term as well, so they're not like short term. So whatever you're trying to do and you're trying to make a habit, you should think of that habit. You should be happy if that habit was to. If it's a good habit, you should be happy that this habit is going to be long term, basically. Like, if you're not happy with this habit being long term, then I don't think it should be something you can consider.
Concentrate on.
Yeah.
And I heard it takes like 27 to 30 days to form a habit.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
I had 21.
And I think
21.
It's around, yeah.
But that point goes back to what I said.
60 days, bro.
60. What did you get from any like?
even like
Best thing to say is figure it out yourself.
no, but even like relieving bad habits. I think for smoking it takes like 6 months.
Depends on how bad it is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
depends on how bad it is.
Nah,
I'm pretty. I saw it
You're a
yesterday.
chain smoker, then isn't it?
Because someone smoking 2 packs a day.
I saw it yesterday too. If you're like addicted to smoking, it takes 6 months to fully like. Obviously, as time progresses, you take less cigarettes, but it takes 6 months to fully abstain from that habit. And even then, you'll still have that incentive to like
It's 6 months. 6 months
it's still there.
Imagine, and for those people that are thinking of falling into these bad habits, just think of that 6 months to get out of it. Is it really worth it?
No, it's not. Also,
That's-
one thing. Oh, sorry.
Go on.
I was gonna say thing. What a lot of people fall into as well, yeah, when they're trying to break a bad habit, yeah. Obviously, it's good to reward yourself as well, you know. So like, because it helps you, it gives you motivation to carry on breaking it. But what some people do, they reward themselves by going into a bad habit again, like one last time. Some people do that. So they say, oh, like, I'm somebody listening to music, but this is one song as reward. Or some people do that.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. So like, the one, don't do that, because that will just destroy all your progress. Because that one song will turn into you listen to it every single day. Like, yeah,
I feel like
definitely not.
that's the what's that term called? The breakthrough something.
We mentioned it last time on a podcast.
Nah, there's a term, the breakthrough period. You see on a chart,
No.
the breakthrough point.
Oh no, not another chart.
Not another chart.
What are you talking about, man?
I bring the delete. Don't worry, I'll send it. The breaking point. It's breaking point, isn't it?
Are you talking about breaking?
What are you talking about?
That's the break even point. When something like that comes here, and you tackle it, and you don't fall for it, then that's how you break even.
100.
It's business, bro.
Businessman, come on, you know.
See? Go on. You have verbal for man now.
Nah.
Cool. So good habits. Yeah, we should always strive to develop good habits, man.
Even
the more good habits you have,
I'll keep it total.
the easier it is for you to get rid of your bad habits. Yeah, go on.
I was gonna say, like, even though a lot of the Deen revolves around, you know, building habits. For example, the 5 daily salawat.
Yeah.
It's habits, you know. You have to pray every single day at this time. So it's a habit. Reading the Quran every day, it's a habit. So a lot of the Deen is revolved around good habits and breaking bad habits and stuff like that. So yeah.
Wait, I was going to mention one last thing.
I think I'm not gonna mention.
Oh,
No, go on.
I was going to mention first, when you're starting a good habit, yeah, it's going to be difficult at first, innit? So say you're a reaver and you're trying to get up for Fajr in the cold, you have to do wudu in the cold, and then you get
waking up at 8.
Yeah,
9.
I know that's going to be quite hard, innit?
Yeah.
But then think of it, I think we mentioned it one time, about say someone that hasn't been going gym at all for a long time, and then now they get back onto it. They're going to find it hard, innit? They're like, I can't even lift, or I used to lift, stuff like that. Then after a bit, repetition, etc., it's easy now. So you have to break that barrier, and after that'll be easy.
What's it called again? The breaking point.
Break even.
Break even.
I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, bro. In business, when your
Okay.
That's
profits
how much
meet your
profits you make.
Yeah, that's
I
how
remember that.
your
actually.
cost.
No, I remember that.
Your revenue meets your cost, and then you break
I
even.
remember that. Yeah.
Then you
I
into
remember
profit.
that stuff.
Go on, GCC business, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
Economics is more elite, I can't lie.
That's good and bad habits.
100%.
Wallahi.
That's good and bad habits. Let's move on to a month that's coming upon us soon. Very soon.
Inshallah, we'll see
Inshallah.
it.
Inshallah, Allah naballighna Ramadan, man.
I
I
mean,
mean, Ramadan. This month, yeah, this is the best time for you to switch. Because the whole month, most people that are around you, like your Muslim brothers and sisters, yeah, they're going to be focused in it. This is your time to take advantage. And your dua, so many opportunities, bro. Everyone's up at night, late night, can go pray tarawih, everything. So yeah, Ramadan. Let's talk about the benefits.
The vibe is different in Ramadan because everyone's on the same thing as you. Everyone's almost everyone's fasting. Almost everyone wants to seek the pleasure of Allah. Almost everyone asks forgiveness, etc. And everyone's fasting as well. So like, it's harder to do sins. I don't know if you might have heard it, but you know, some people like, they say, oh bro, I can't do that, it's Ramadan.
Yeah,
type of thing.
yeah.
Although you shouldn't do it, even if it's in Ramadan or without Ramadan, you shouldn't do some bad things. But they say, because it's Ramadan, even that's very helpful. Because even like some people, they say, they start judging people. They say, why are you only doing good things in Ramadan?
They call them like what, Ramadan Muslims or something
Ramadan
like that.
Muslim, yeah. Why are you doing that in Ramadan
Shouldn't
only?
do that, man.
When you finish it, but little did they know it could be because of this month
That they
change
changed,
for the rest of their life.
100%.
How many examples have we seen?
So
Bro,
Well, like, how many examples?
Yeah,
bro,
so
that
many
COVID,
examples.
Ramadan in COVID, yeah, bro. I'm seeing so, alhamdulillah,
Wallahi.
may Allah preserve them people,
Ameen.
like, a lot of them. They were on
Ameen.
some madness, yeah, and then Ramadan came.
Nah.
It doesn't matter who was judging them.
Yeah.
They did their thing, and now Talab, Allah barik lahum. Alhamdulillah. So don't judge someone.
that's the
like
thing.
me,
After
man.
Ramadan, you have to carry on, innit?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
because some
that's-
people. So on Eid, yeah. So Ramadan, they're abstaining from everything the whole time. Then Eid, yeah, subhanAllah, it's just all out the window. Like, obviously, you have to. Eid is a day of celebration, not a day for sin. Do you know, I don't know where that misconception comes from, but you're not allowed to sin on that day. It doesn't make it okay. Do you know what I mean?
Doesn't make it halal.
Yeah, bro. It's a day of celebration, but yeah, you can't sin on that. So after Eid, inshallah, carry on the progress that you made in Ramadan. Don't let it go to waste, man.
Yeah.
Like, just carry on, keep it going. Still fast and stuff like that. Fast in the Sunan days and stuff like that, the white days, etc.
It'll be easier.
Exactly, yeah.
I heard, yeah.
and it will make you a better person. Because then you realize in Ramadan, a lot of people, they say that Ramadan was the happiest month of their life. Every month they look forward to it. Even the ones who are not completely practicing, they look forward to it because they know that it's the time to change. And so if you want to be that happy for the whole year, then just carry on what you were doing. Just keep going. For example, we're not going to Tarawih anymore. Pray, wake up for Qiyam al-Layl, pray that. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Fast, white day, etc. Yeah.
It just shows your full potential in Ramadan. What you do in Ramadan, generally speaking, people do way more than how they usually do in other months, innit?
Yeah.
That shows your potential. That shows your level, like what you can get to. So after Ramadan, they'll know, okay, I was doing this in Ramadan. Why can't I do it now? It shows like, look, I can do it, type of thing. So it's sort of like like a training ground for the rest of your life or something.
Yeah, 100%. I get what you're saying.
So yeah, going back to what you said earlier, you said little do people know that Ramadan could be the reason why people change, innit? I know so many brothers, during Ramadan, do you know why? It's because during Ramadan, let's say your circle of friends, if they're Muslim, outside of Ramadan, they're normally like sinning, smoking, but then during Ramadan, they know like these things will invalidate their fast, innit? So they'll stay away from it. This is an opportunity for you because you're not around negativity no more, not around sins. This is where you can actually start developing good habits and start striving. So that's why I feel like a lot of brothers change, and obviously from dua, obviously as well. But yeah, man.
And also like the Prophet ﷺ mentioned in the hadith, the gates of Jannah open, the gates of hellfire close, and the shaitan are shackled as well.
Yeah.
So all of this plus the environment and stuff like that, so it's the perfect time to make change. So yeah, I think we should all strive to make change for the better this month.
Inshallah.
With that being said, I think it was a very beneficial episode. Good habits, bad habits. Hopefully you guys benefited.
Inshallah.
We'll see you next week. Subhanakallah bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.